Hey, bestie, what type of snacks do we have today? I'm not even gonna tell you what kind of snacks to get. You get to pick, but you gotta let me know what it is in the comments, okay? Okay. So this story time is actually not. It's not gonna be that long, but I feel like it's a pretty good one. And please, not too much on my lashes, cause y'all know when I decide to be a baddie, I'm the baddest. Act like y'all know. Anyway, so this story submission is from a guy. Let's call him James. So James had just driven his daughter to college. Her college was about maybe 3 hours away. So he dropped his daughter off at college and he's just taking the trip back, you know? So it's about like a 3 hour drive back. So on his way driving back, he's driving through this empty road. It was getting kind of dark. The road was very, very empty. Anyway, so he's driving, and as he's driving, he noticed there's a woman standing on this damn near abandoned road. She has like a thumbs up, like she's hitchhiking, right? And for a second, stranger danger came to his mind, you know, and he got kind of spooked. But he's like, what if this woman really needs help? Like, I can't know that this woman needs help. It's about to get dark. This is an abandoned road. I can't know that this girl needs help and I can't help her. So he decides to do the right thing. He pulls over, he pulls down the window, and he asks her, hey ma'am, do you need help? Are you okay? Is everything okay? Did your car break down? And it seemed like she didn't really speak English, but ultimately she was asking him for a ride. So he asked her, like, where are you going? And she hands him this little piece of paper with an address on it. And when he put the address in his GPS, it's not bad. It's about an hour from where he's at. His house is 2, so it's on the way there. So he tells her, okay, I'll take you to the address. He doesn't know, he don't know. She don't speak English. He's trying to help. So boom, she gets in the back seat and, she doesn't really speak much. He tries to make conversation, but because of the language barrier, they can't really communicate. But he tried his best to be a good Samaritan. He tried to make her feel as comfortable as possible because he could see that she's a bit nervous because she's not really even though she doesn't speak English, but she's also not talking much. She seems quiet and very distant. And he doesn't know the reason why she's on the road hitchhiking, so she may be nervous, She's probably thinking of him as stranger danger. So he gives her some snacks. She declines everything, but he tries as much as he can to make her feel comfortable. That's the point. So when they were 10 minutes away from the address, he let her know they're 10 minutes away, so they're going to get there very, very fast. Anyways, he gets there. He gets to the address. He's looking for the house. He's driving, and he finds the house, and he pulls over in front of the house, and he turns back to tell her, hey, we're here. Except when he turned back, nobody was in the back seat. No one was in the back seat. He's like, what the hell? Like, she was in this car a second ago. He's getting out the car. He's looking around the car as if she would just be hiding somewhere. And he genuinely feels like he's going freaking nuts. This girl was just in his back seat and he just can't believe what's happening. But he still gets to the address. And that kind of reassures him a little bit because he's like, okay, I'm not crazy because I came to this address. That's what the address said. And he's still holding the piece of paper with the address. So he goes up to the house. He knocks on the door. And this older lady comes out and greets him. And he basically says to the lady, like, this is going to sound so weird, but this young lady just asked me for a ride. She gave me this piece of paper with this address on it to drop her off here. But when we got here, she was nowhere to be found. She didn't exit the car, but she was in, like, he just sounded crazy. So the older lady, like, what did the young lady look like? So he basically gives her a physical, like, description of what the girl looked like. And the moment he starts doing that, she starts tearing up. So he's like, ma'am, why are you crying? She invites him inside. He sits down, which I really think that that's a crazy thing to do after what just happened. I would have never went inside because I don't know what kind of trap this is, like, whatever. But he did it. He went inside and the older lady comes out with like a photo album and shows him a picture. And she basically asked him, like, is this the girl you're talking about? He's like, yes, that's the girl that was in my back seat. Except she was wearing something else. She was wearing this cute little nice white dress. And the older lady just instantly started crying. And come to find out, that was her daughter that passed away on that same road that he was on 20 years ago. 20 years ago, y'all, she passed away. And yeah, that was just like a what the fuck moment for him. And that's really something that stuck with him because it's like, dang, How do you even explain this to somebody, you know? And so he said that he feels validated on my page, so he knows a lot of people are going to believe him. Until this day, he doesn't know why that young lady chose him. And it wasn't necessarily a bad thing either. Like, his life didn't get bad after. It was just one weird experience that he had. And I thought I'd share it with you guys because I feel like in a way it's kind of sweet, you know? Anyways, make sure you guys are following me on Instagram and subscribing to my YouTube channel just in case, you know, they're taking this thing away, this app. I really hope they don't, because I heard actually the CEO of TikTok just did a meeting with Donald Trump. So we'll see what comes out of that. Until then, put your snack away. You're getting big.
Let's read some scary New Mexico stories. Also, the lights are staying on. Again, y'all, it's storming outside and I'm scared. In 1996 or so, my friends and I were driving at night headed from Albuquerque to Durango. A little past Cuba, we encountered what we could only explain as a flesh pedestrian. At first, it looked like someone on the side of the road, but when it started running alongside of our car and keeping pace, we freaked out and sped away. Went camping one time in Coyote Canyon up near Abiquiu, and after a hike near the campsite, one of my dumbass friends found a pile of bones and feathers, and thinking this jawbone looked cool, brought it back to the camp. Later that night, while packing the food into the cars for the night, something was throwing rocks and grunting, so we each grabbed a dog. There were 3 dogs, all over 80 pounds, and tucked into our tents. Later that night, something big was wandering through our sight, and the dogs were terrified. Till this day, none of us will go back. Was camping with my girlfriend at Jack's Creeks in Pecos. Her daughter and my son were in the tent beside us. About 2:30 a.m., we were all dead asleep. I heard someone call her name, and it woke me up from a dead sleep. I thought someone was messing with us. She had her name on her vehicle since she was a small business owner, but then I heard it again. I was getting my pants and boots on, and she asked did I get it both times. I said yes as getting dressed and headed out the tent. There's a gravel road around the camping area. I didn't see or hear anyone. I walked around, checked both vehicles, sat quietly to hear if anyone was walking around. No lights at all, not a peep. It was never figured out. One of the comments on this story said, Pecos creeps me out for some reason. The area is beautiful, but there's a somber feeling out there. If you've ever been there, please let us know in the comments why it's like creepy over there. I have heard some crazy stories from people about their experiences camping around northern New Mexico. I met a guy when I was camping with some friends in the Santa Fe Mountains who was passing through with his girlfriend. He worked on film sets and in between jobs liked to spend his time in the backcountry. He told us about one night when he woke up in the middle of the night in his tent to a blindingly bright light all around, and he wanted to get out and address whoever was out there. But that was the last thing he remembered, and said he must have fallen asleep or passed out because he woke up the next morning really shaken up. He told us about how the river flowing through those mountains, like all rivers, is sacred and was a very important resource for the indigenous people that lived there. He said that one night as he was falling asleep, he could hear the sound of drum beats as he listened to the water flowing by his camp, and that he has asked other campers he has run into about this, and many others have heard it too. Some have even heard singing. Okay, the first part of that story is obviously creepy, but the second part is actually kind of beautiful. Let us know if you've ever had a creepy encounter in New Mexico.
I heard this glitch story a few years ago and I can't get it out of my head, so now I'm going to share it with you. Creepy story time. So this woman starts her story off by saying her husband is an electrical engineer and she is a teacher, and she wanted to make sure everyone knows they are not crazy people. She said back when her and her husband were first dating, he was in a terrible car crash. His truck slid on black ice, went into oncoming traffic, and it was completely totaled. The other truck that he hit was also totaled, but the weird thing was that he and the other guy he hit were completely fine. There was not a scratch on them. The first responders, the tow truck companies, and even insurance all could not believe that not only had nobody passed away, but no one was even severely injured or injured at all. So fast forward a couple of days, and she and her boyfriend were hanging out on the couch, and he casually asked her when she got that flat screen TV on her dresser. She's completely baffled because she's had that flat screen TV since she's 13 years old, and they've been together for a little over a year, and it's been there the entire time. So he's like, quit joking with me. when did you get that flat screen, and what did you do with the old tube TV that used to be sitting there? She is insisting that she has always had the flat screen. What are you talking about? There is no tube TV. And they were arguing, and it got to the point where she pulled up Facebook and showed him a photograph that they took together, and that flat screen TV was indeed in the background of the photo. She says his expression drops, his face is white as a ghost, and his eyes start watering. And she's like, are you okay? What is wrong? He said, I am not crazy. I swear to God that you had a tube TV, and that was a tube TV when we took the photo. She just kind of let it go then, brushing it off as, you know, maybe he's a little rattled from the accident yet. But she said every time they had been hanging out in that room since, he'd always like side eye and look at the TV really weird. Fast forward 7 years now, and it had been a few years since they were married. They decided it's finally time that they want to be parents. She said they weren't actively trying, but they were going to let it be whatever happens, happens. So they're on vacation now in Italy, and they're wandering around Rome, and she said she started to feel like complete shit. She had also had her period the week before, and it was one of the worst ones she ever had. But she just keeps getting sicker and sicker. It's like her period came back full force. She's throwing up, all of the things. She's pretty confused and weirded out since she just had her period the week before. And it got to the point where she was so sick that the next thing she knows, they're going to emergency and she is on a stretcher. She's being wheeled into surgery because the doctor explained she had a ruptured ectopic pregnancy. She did pull through though, and after a week of recovery, she was all cleared to fly home. So fast forward another 2 months, and they are hanging out, and the topic of fires come up, and he brings up how scary that would be, what happens if they'd have a kitchen fire. And she chimes in and says, well, don't worry, remember, we've got that fire extinguisher in the closet. Now he's looking at her like she has 3 heads, and he's like, what are you talking about? And she repeats herself that, yeah, don't you remember, we got that fire extinguisher that we put in the coat closet. She said they've had it for 3 years, and he was the one who insisted that they buy one when they got the house. But he's shaking his head no. He has no idea what she's talking about. They absolutely do not have a fire extinguisher. She brings up, don't you remember when we not only fought about whether we needed it or not, we bought it at Home Depot, argued about where to even put it in the house. All of that happened. He is adamant, nope, absolutely none of that happened. So she's pissed. She gets up, cursing him under her breath, walks over to the closet to prove her point, opens up the door, and there is no fire extinguisher. Not only is there no fire extinguisher, there are no holes where it would have been. There is no fresh paint painted over, and now she feels like she's losing it. She's furious, and she's like, why would you move it and cover it up and paint over it as just like some elaborate prank? And he's fighting her back, saying none of that happened. As the fight came to a head, he was kind of like, now you know how I feel about the tube TV. So then they didn't speak about it for a long time, and one of them came upon one of these threads on the internet talking about glitches in reality or jumping timeline. They are convinced that they both actually were unalived and kind of had a reset into this new reality, and the TV and the fire extinguisher were just little mistakes, little glitches. She said she's never been more rattled in her entire life, and anytime she has to go into that closet, she just gets this overwhelming sense of something's just not right. And he says he will go to his grave claiming that that used to be a tube TV. Such an awesome story. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And also, has anything like that ever happened to you where certain things are just a little bit different? And don't forget to follow for more creepy story time.
Should we show them the older homestead?
Yeah, let's go. As you know.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Was that you?
Yeah, that's on either side.
It went to both.
Yeah.
I made $10 off of a weird man on Cameo. If you guys don't know, I made a Cameo like maybe a week ago, just because apparently you literally don't need to do like any like verification that you're like relevant to get on. Like you literally don't have to do anything. So I was just like, okay, that's fucking funny. Like I want to make one. So I did. And like I just thought it would be funny. So then I made one, and I like posted a thing on TikTok like saying I made one. And I'm waiting for the day to come where I get a video order, because I still have yet to get one. I honestly wasn't expecting to get one, but I just thought it was funny to make one. But literally probably like an hour after I make the account and like post that I made one, somebody follows me on TikTok. This like guy in his 30s sends me a DM, which I don't think he knows I saw the DM because I didn't respond or like accept it.
But he sends me a DM and was like, my prayers have been answered. Like, whenever I see, like, a creator like you make Cameo, I get so excited because, like, that's, like, this is just what I've been asking for. But honestly, I looked at this guy's profile and I thought, like, maybe he was gay. So I'm like, okay, maybe he just loves watching me do my makeup. I don't know why I was thinking positively like that. But I saw the DM first because I was on TikTok when he sent it. And then I get notifications from Cameo saying I got, like, something sent to me on there. Apparently Cameo, like, has a feature where you can pay to DM people. It's like, I think I have my prices set. It's like $5 for a video and like $3 for a DM or something like that. So this guy pays me $3 just to send me a DM on Cameo, which, mind you, he already sent me one on TikTok, but I guess it's more, like, guaranteed that you'll get a response on Cameo. I don't know, but still kind of stupid in my opinion. But he DMs me on Cameo. It's just, like, really big fan of you. Mind you, he just followed me that day, but he's, like, really big fan of you. Like, I'm so glad you made a Cameo. Like, I love your videos, blah, 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 blah. Like, just saying all this stuff. And then at the end of the message, he was like, I'm kind of, like, a special guy in a way. Like, I have this really weird issue, but I'm just a silly, awkward, funny white guy, like, you know, but I have a dark side. And I fucking read this shit and I'm like, oh my fucking god, literally die, because I can already tell, like, you're fucking weird. But I just literally, I was like, well, let's see if we can get $3 more because mama likes money. So I'm responding to this guy, I will say. Should I maybe have not responded? Yeah. But I was giving, like, literally one-word answers. And just, like, if he responds, he responds. If he doesn't, he doesn't, because I'm not really feeding into this. So I literally just responded to that and said, okay. And then he was like, I really feel like I need to open up about my problems, what's wrong with me, because there's something wrong with me. And I was just like, all right. And then he was like, I'm feeling a little embarrassed and shy. Mind you, every message he's sending to me is another $3. So he's like, I'm just feeling, like, embarrassed and, like, I don't know. And I just literally kept responding, like, all right, okay, yep, like, stuff like that. And then he literally sends, like, 3 paragraphs in a row, like, massive paragraphs. I don't know if there's, like, a text limit, like, if you can only send so much. I'm assuming there would be, because I can't imagine sending 3 different paragraphs if there's no limit, unless you're just trying to, like, add dramatic effect. But $3 for that, mind you. But then basically he sends me, like, 5 paragraphs in a row just saying, like, I'm really nervous to say this, but I need to open up about my problem. I need to open up about my problem. And then didn't even respond. And he keeps sending messages. And he's like, oh my god, this is actually so embarrassing for him. Like, it shouldn't be embarrassing for me because I didn't fucking do shit. I literally said okay to every single message. But he literally sent me these massive paragraphs about how he has such a large appendage and it ruins his relationships because it's just so big. Like, it's embarrassingly big. Like, oh my god, it's just huge. Sending me paragraphs upon paragraphs of this, and, like, it's hard for me to keep a girlfriend because it's just like nobody can handle it. And I just said, okay. I'm pretty sure I literally just responded something like, where the fuck is this going? And then he was like, well, it's just like, I don't know, it's so embarrassing. Like, it's so embarrassing. I just needed to tell somebody about it. And then he's like telling me all this stuff. My ex-girlfriend used to, like, had this nickname for it and would, like, call it this and, like, blah, 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 and just kept going. Again, $3 for every message. He sent me so many messages. And then eventually he was just like, I was wondering if I could pay you on here for me to send you a video of my appendage. And then, like, you send me a video of your live reaction to it. Like, I just think that would be really cool. Like, and I really just want to send you a few videos and have you do, like, multiple videos, like, reacting to it. Like, would you do that? I said, no. And then he never responded again. But also, mind you, as this is actively going on and he's, like, paying to text me, I was taking, well, this isn't really relevant, but it kind of is. But I would take, like, a couple hours in between because, you know, I actually have stuff going on in my life, not just letting this man DM me about his embarrassingly large PP. But so I was taking, oh my god, I just fucked this up. Anyways, I was taking like multiple hours to respond because I had other stuff going on and I don't really give a fuck about this DM exchange. Like, I would take like a couple hours to respond and then he'd respond to me within like 30 seconds. I'm like, you have a problem. But I was gonna say, like, as this was actively going on, I was like obviously creeped out, but I was like, let me keep him distracted and keep messaging him back on here. And then like as he was messaging me, I was finding every single social media account he had. I honestly don't even know how I did it, but I somehow like managed to basically background check this guy and find all of his social media, block him on everything. And then when he inevitably asked me if he could send me videos, I just said like, yeah, no, sorry, I'm not interested. And then he didn't respond again, but I'm like, and now you're literally blocked on all social media and you don't even know that. I'm a really big fan of you, even though I literally just found you today, number one. And number two, this shit pisses me off so bad. I do not feel bad about responding, honestly, and him paying me money to message me, because actually, fuck you. If you want to message some girl about like doing stuff like that, message someone on fucking OnlyFans or somebody who like is open about like doing that kind of content, because they can get their buck from that. But I make makeup videos. I literally make makeup videos. Literally, like, if I notice like a straight man liking my videos, they're getting blocked, because it always ends up in shit like this. It always ends in shit like this. I'm just like, there's no reason for you to be here. There's no reason for you to be here, because I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. I literally post makeup videos and videos about like fucking Five Nights at Freddy's and stuff. Like, there's no reason for you to be here and be like trying to DM me to ask if I will look at your PP. I never once in my life have like even insinuated that I would be interested in making money that way. It actually just pisses me off, because it's like there are so many people who like do that as a job and like are willing to do that, you know, for money. But instead you're gonna go find random people who aren't interested in that, and you're gonna like harass them. Like, follow me on TikTok and was sending me DMs on TikTok and then was sending me stuff on Cameo, and I'm just like, you're crazy. But I made more than like $10 from it, because Cameo took a big part of it. But I'm just like, actually, just fuck off. Like I said, don't feel bad about taking his money, because literally I'm sending you like K as a response, and then you still choose to send 4 more paragraphs. Like, you're fucking weird. Get on OnlyFans. Like, if you need that stuff that bad, get on fucking OnlyFans, or like, I don't know, a website made for that, not a TikTok. And yeah, fucking weird. Weird. Also, just the fact that literally like there was 5 messages leading up to the fact just of him to be like, I'm scared to say this, but I have a really big PP. Like, can you imagine if I was getting on here all the time and being like, my boobs are so big, it's so embarrassing, like, it just gets in the way of all my relationships. Like, oh my god, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Bye.
Share my story. I've never told anyone this, but to this day, it still haunts me. I'll be honest, when I first read this, I wasn't sure if it was true, but he swears up and down that this really happened, so I'll share. He calls himself Mike for the sake of this story. So in the early 90s, Mike is working as a manager at a fast casual restaurant. It was and still is a pretty popular chain. He's in his early 30s at this point. He has a kid that's a freshman in high school and then another one that's in 7th grade. He's a pretty simple guy. He's generally well liked at work. He brings his morning crew donuts. He brings his night crew candy. He tries to keep it pretty positive at work. And even though he's well liked as a manager, his employees are of transient nature. They're always coming and going. A lot of them are high schoolers because it's a pretty low-paying job. Some of them are ex-cons because the business gets a tax break for every felon they hire. He actually knows a lot of the teenagers that he hires because his kids have grown up with them. So one day Mike's leaving work, he's pulling out of the parking lot and he feels somebody slam in the back of his truck, and he gets out and he's like, what is this? And he sees Dee, it's one of his high school employees. And Dee jumps out of the car and he's freaking out and like hyperventilating because he's driving an old beater and his car is tore up. Mike looks at the damage on the back of his truck and he sees it's basically just a little tiny like cosmetic scratch, but this kid's car is ruined. And Mike actually knows Dee. Dee is the same age as Mike's oldest son, and Dee's from a troubled background, troubled family, and he actually has his own baby on the way. So Mike feels bad that Dee is so upset by this accident. So when Dee asks him not to call the cops because he doesn't have insurance, Mike doesn't think twice about it. He's like, of course I'm not going to ruin your life over this. Dee's like, thank you so much. Like, I will pay you back for this scratch. Like, I swear to God, as soon as I get some money, I'll pay you back. He's like, don't even worry about it. A couple days go by and Dee's having some trouble getting to and from work because his car is still in the shop. He can't afford to fix it and he can't afford a new one. One day he comes up to Mike in the office. He's about to clock out and he's like, hey man, like, I know you're getting off in an hour. Would you mind dropping me off at home? I don't have a ride today. Keep in mind, this is the early 90s. So like before Uber and Lyft, and Mike also said said, it was a small town, so it's not like cabs were readily available. Mike's like, of course I'll drive you home. Where do you live? And Dee tells him, and it's actually on the way back to Mike's house. So he's like, yeah, no problem. He drives him home that day. The house is like run down. There's weeds all over. Just not a good living environment. But Dee is super appreciative for the ride. He thanks him and gets out of the truck. This ride home situation becomes more frequent as the weeks go on, but Mike really doesn't mind. And then one day at work, Dee approaches Mike in the office and he's like, hey man, I'm having some problems with money. I really need to get some diapers for this new baby. Like, would you mind spotting me $20 until my check comes? And Mike is like a genuinely good person. So he's like, yeah, of course. Like, you know what? Don't even worry about the $20. And he gives it to him. It's not even payday yet when Dee comes back up and he asks him for $40. Mike shuts this down pretty quick. He's like, hey, I'm your employer. It's not appropriate for me to be giving you money all the time. I was happy to help. I'm always happy to help, but I can get you some more hours. I can get you maybe some overtime. Just like, let me know what you need. He's like, okay. Sorry for asking. Thanks anyway. He comes up to him again and he says, Mike, I really need your help with something. My girl and I are trying to get an apartment for the new baby and we don't have enough credit. So we need a co-signer. Like, would you be willing to do that for me? And Mike does feel bad, but ultimately he says no, because he has his own kids to take care of and he can't afford to be co-signing for somebody he barely knows. And when he tells Dee no, he sees his face go dark. And Dee's quiet for a minute, and then all of a sudden he just explodes in anger. And he's like, what, you think you're better than me because you were privileged and you've had more opportunities and you make more money than me? And Mike's like, no, like, I told you I'd help you out as much as I can. I can get you more hours, whatever you need, but I cannot co-sign for you for this apartment. So Dee gets quiet and he's like, all right, I understand, and he leaves. That night, it's a couple hours later, Mike closes up the store. He's by himself, counts the safe, locks the door, walks out to the parking lot to his truck, but blocking the path from...
Here's a story time of when my friend and I in high school were driving around and I looked out the passenger window at the people in the car beside us, as you do, at a stoplight, right? It was like night, it was like not late, but it was dark, and I looked and they were already looking at me, and both of the people in the car had black eyes. There was no pupil, it was just pure solid black. And they were just like this. And so then I turned to my friend and I said, hey, do you see that these people have solid black eyes? And my friend was like, oh, yeah, they do. So then we floored it through the light, and they were behind us for maybe 3 seconds. And there was nowhere to turn, right? There was nowhere that they would have turned to in that time. But by the time that we had moved that much from the light, the car was gone. The car was gone.
What the fuck was that? Bro!
What's going on around you?
I don't know. I'm frozen. I am frozen.
Did the window
Sean.
break?
Everybody's aware of the weird Michael Jackson impersonators, right? But are you guys aware of the really weird Ariana Grande impersonators? And before y'all try to come at me being like, oh my god, Paris, you literally do the same thing. No, sweetie. Me doing cosplays here and there is not the same as me completely changing my whole entire personality to be somebody else. For example, the most infamous Ariana Grande wannabe is Paige Nyman. This girl has been completely cosplaying as Ariana Grande for years now. But the difference between a normal cosplayer and this girl, Paige, is that she completely centers her whole personality, her whole look around being Ariana Grande. Completely changing how she talks to talk like Ariana Grande, completely copying the facial expressions, going around trying to trick people into think that she's Ariana Grande, getting filler to look more like Ariana Grande, and doing OF as Ariana Grande. The thing that's even weirder about her that people don't like is that Ariana Grande knows who this girl is, and Ariana Grande was like, oh, she makes me uncomfortable. And instead of Paige being like, oh, okay, let me chill out a little bit, let me chillax, she gets online and she starts talking about how she doesn't like Ariana anymore, she's not a fan, blah, 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 but continues to still live her life as her. There is another one that's been popping up on my For You page a lot lately who is less well known, but she's just as obnoxious as Paige, if not worse. Okay, she's not worse than Paige, but she's just like more annoying than Paige. Her name is like Dara or something. She's this blonde girl who she'll do Ariana Grande cosplays here and there, and she lip syncs to Ariana Grande, and like she's a big Ariana Grande fan. She does do other makeup looks and stuff like that, but for the most part, her main makeup routine is very much fully Ariana Grande. Like, this is her normal routine. All of her mannerisms Ariana Grande. The way that she speaks, Ariana Grande. The way she does her hair, Ariana Grande. Although she does make different content, most of her content, especially the ones that pops up on my For You page, is her responding to comments and complaining that people keep saying that she's Ariana Grande wannabe and how she's not, and she's just slightly inspired by her and she's not cosplaying her or anything like that. But you go to her account and she's an exact dupe. It's weird. She's like second tier to Paige. Like, she's not as bad as Paige, but she's like still annoying. I guess like third tier is this girl named Estelle. She keeps popping up on my For You page as well. She's also not as well known as like Paige and stuff. Ariana Grande knows who she is. Ariana Grande has invited her to her events and stuff like that. She's not an exact dupe or ripoff of Ariana Grande. She genuinely looks like the girl, but she very much copies the mannerisms as well. She very much does her makeup to make her look more like Ariana Grande, and she also claims that she's not copying her. I believe her, kind of, you know what I mean? She does have her own content. She does do different styles. She didn't dye her hair blonde like Ariana, but it's just like the mannerisms, the makeup routines. Like, guys, it's okay to cosplay, but it's also okay to be your own person when the cosplay comes off. Also, special shout out to that one black girl from like pandemic era with like the crispy ponytail, and then she would do like the whistle notes that were really bad on live.